in today's video, we will talk more about how you can get overwhelmed and stressed because of trading. And this is what happened this week, and unfortunately, it wasn't a great week. It wasn't also so bad, but yeah, it could have been better. I also lost the grip to catch those pretty A+ setups because I was starting to focus on something else. And there are too many information for me currently to look at, so I'm getting very much overwhelmed and stressed. Plus, also, we will talk a bit about how the family can impact your trading. So let's jump to it. So here already we can see the date range from 20th of July till the 20th of July. And we can see that this week wasn't so great because I was on minus $164, so not great. And at the beginning of the week, we can see that I started very well. Then I got a bit stagnant, and then on Thursday and Friday, I had got 2 losses. And when we will look at the calendar, we will see that, as I was saying, Monday was A+ setup, 2 of A+ setups actually, and one ended up actually on break even because I was placing stop loss too early, and the second one was a great win. Then I had got a bit of a loss here because I got FOMO because Tuesday the moves were amazing and I was just too scared of catching any of them. And then Wednesday I was taking trades, however the market after big moves on Monday and Tuesday didn't move anywhere, and I just got into consolidations and didn't get anywhere. On Thursday, unfortunately, I had a conversation with my family and it didn't end up well, especially about trading, and that impacted me a lot. And I started to think like, yeah, I can do this, I can show my family that I can trade. And well, trading is the only profession that you should not hurry up and you should just take it easy, be patient, and then because you're patient, the profits will come and you will see those A+ setups. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and fortunately, it was only minus $283 of loss. However, it could have ended up way worse. And then Friday, unfortunately, we're also ending up on the minus, and I would have perfect $200, and I placed a really nice trade, A+ setup again on the gold. However, then I started to see other things, other trades, and I placed too many trades and I end up on minus $41. And now I will show you very fast the trades that you could have learned from, because the ones that I placed without any idea, you cannot learn anything from those. So let's jump here to oil first, which ended up on break even. And when we'll go to the chart, we can see here that we had an amazing break here of 2 touch points, but we could see that the price was going up and then it started to go down. Here it broke and then it made a retest. Actually, it made the double retest, and I entered on the retest. And the continuous red line, I was showing my initial safety line, and then afterwards I moved my safety line to the dashed one. However, I started to be scared that the price will go to the other side, and I placed my stop loss too tight to the safety line, and it ended up that the price kicked me out literally on the week, and then it went down to my take profit. So this was the first initial take profit and the second take profit, and yeah, it was hit unfortunately without me. Then the other good trade on Monday was the gold trade, and here we can see that there was a trend line with 2 touch points, and it was a very weighted trend line, and then the price tried to break here and then it didn't manage, and it broke again the second time here, and then I placed the trade and I took the profits next to the level of 3,400. Here I saw the support resistant level from that wicks here, and that's where I took my profit. I could have waited longer and take the profits on the next support resistance, which was here, because if we will go further, like we can see that here were the wicks for the next support resistance level. However, because that move was already so steep, I didn't have got any additional safety line, and I didn't want it to compromise my profits, and I just took them. Here we can see my Wednesday's consolidations. So we can see that the price moved at the beginning and then it started to make a retest on that red trend line, which also, if we can see, like had got a lot of weight. And I thought that, like, okay, the price this time is doing the retest, and I entered here and the price was going up down for I think like 5 hours, and then finally it started to make a move down, and I closed it after it crossed my support resistance zone and the safety line here. So unfortunately that was a loss. And then the next one was oil, and also I got into, unfortunately, consolidation, and we can see that here was a trend line. It was broken. On the oil, definitely I'm taking currently the entries on the break and retest, because I figured out that this is the most clear way to see if the price is going towards my direction. And here I entered. Also, it started to cross my support resistance. However, then for another 4 or 5 hours I got into consolidation, stagnant, and there was no move, and I exited when the price got back to break even, and I'm very happy with that because then afterwards it went the other direction. So sometimes if it's a non-producer, it's better to close it. And I was thinking the same on this other trade in gold. However, I didn't close when I was being able on break even because I wanted to close it according to the strategy. But this one, I didn't want it to have another loss, so I closed it on break even. The next trade was on Thursday, and it was on Japanese yen. And we can see that the price crossed the first action line. It reversed, it made a retest, and then when it came back after the retest at 8 a.m. when the Asian markets closed, I decided to enter. It was a signal for me that we're going short, and I kept it till this moment. It was, I think, like $130, and I unfortunately closed because I was on another trade, which I placed on silver, which was completely too expensive for me, and I closed that one on a loss, so I wanted to have got at least some profits. And my take profit was actually on this support resistance zone, and it would be hit, but well. The same happened actually today, and it happened on gold, and we can see that we have got the action line here, and then the price first consolidated at the top, and then it started to move towards the downside, and I enter when the price crossed the action line. And then when the price started to consolidate here, I exit, and I exit because I was again on the other trade on oil, which I shouldn't have taken, and I had a loss already from that one. So I wanted to have got some profits, and I closed it literally on the wick before on the next candle it hit my take profit. So I am definitely closing the trades way too early when I should not. So this is something that I need to try to keep longer next time. And here's the trade that I should not have taken. It's on oil, and we can see that here it's the second touch point, and the first one is very far away at the top, and that is not a clear trend line. Definitely not a clear trend line. Just I started to see things again. I saw one point the price broke it, and the price retested and came back here up, and this was the 8 a.m. candle, and I was like, yeah, let's go, like it seems like the price is going up, and I took it here, and then it reversed. So I still hold it like for another 2-3 hours, but then I was kicked out on the wick, and then it came back to break even, and then it literally melted. So that is definitely not a clear trend line. I should have got some space, and definitely somewhere another point be like in the middle of that trend line, and that was just a random line, not the line that I should take an action on. So let's talk now a little bit more about psychology. And as I was saying to you before, I'm having too many rules, too many information is coming during the week to my head, and I'm starting to be totally overwhelmed and starting to play stupid trades already on day 3. And on day 1, as I was telling you, I'm very clear. what I should do, and then some informations are coming, like for example, when the previous trade was good and it was trending. For example, was it like during Asian session or during New York session, or maybe it was specifically during some kind of times. And for example, maybe that trade done a small pullback and then it hit lower, so maybe I should wait for those pullbacks. And this is kind of like building this relationship with the instrument, which is very important because you need to have the intuition. And you need to have it because each of the instruments is behaving slightly different. So for example, now on oil, I know that I should always wait for the break and retest, and that is helping me to achieve a better setups. However, gold is almost never doing the breaks and retests, and it's immediately going down. So for example, today I took a trade literally straight down when it started to cross the trend line, and that was a good option because it didn't make a pullback. But because of those informations, my psychology is already messed up, and instead of looking at the A+ setups already on day 3, I'm looking on all those additional information that I got that week, and I'm already placing very stupid trades. And to help myself with being overwhelmed with the information, I created the list. The one and only list, and I hope that you can also create yours. And this is the most compact list that I should really pay attention to every time when I'm placing the trade. So number 1 on the list is to prepare yourself for the next day's trades already the night before. So in this way, already the markets are calming down at the end of the day, and I'm having the opportunity to look at the bigger picture and find those A+ setups with the lines with more weight, and really try to figure it out which way I should take the setups if they will appear the next day, or which way not to take a setups even if they will appear. And in this way, I will see the bigger picture of the whole market, and I will be prepared already in the morning what decisions I should make and which ones I should not make, instead of jumping on the trades because I see like a very fast price action. And this should lead me to point number 2, which tells us that the next day I should place only the trades which I was thinking about the previous day. I should not try to look for the new trades because I'm ending up overtrading and placing stupid trades. And instead of that, I should just place the trades which I saw the previous day. And point number 3 is to place only one trade at a time. And this is because I caught myself this week, I think 2 or 3 times, that because one thing was going up and one thing was going down, I was trying to rescue the losses with the winning trade, and I was closing the winning trade earlier to cover my losses, and that didn't end up so well because at the end of the day I didn't get the profits from my winning trade, but it was the winning trade minus the losing trade. And also, as we know, the markets are sometimes reacting the same direction. So for example, you should not trade two same forex pairs. For example, if we have USD JPY and USD Aussie dollar, because both of them are based on US dollar, and most of the things actually are based on the US dollar. So it's better to take only one trade, because if you will place 2 trades into different directions, then the price of the dollar index is going, then it might end up not so well. So that's why place only one trade and stay only in one trade throughout the whole trade. Don't add any new trades. If you will close, okay, then you can jump to the next one, but don't enter the next one until you will not close the first one. And don't close the first one because you want to jump to the next one, because this is also not a point. And this leads us to the point number 4, which is do not rush and be patient. Because if you're seeing an opportunity in one trade, you might not be able to enter to another trade, which is very close to meet the conditions of entering to the trade. But if you will jump already on the first one, which conditions are not so great, then you cannot enter anymore, according to the point number 3, to the second trade. So if you see that another trade has got more potential, just wait. Just don't take that first trade and just wait for the next one. Obviously, the second one might not happen, but if you're seeing a bigger potential, then it's better to wait. And the last and most important point for me is to always give enough wiggle room so I can literally close the laptop and go about my day. because what is happening very often for me is I am very much stick to the laptop and looking at the price because I'm scared that it will hit my stop loss. And this is because I am not giving enough wiggle room. My wiggle room is too tight, and I know that the price can hit it if it wants, if it will just change the direction. So that's why I should really give more space, more wiggle room to the price and accept that price. And as I was saying before, kinda mentally deduct that price already from your account, and if you win, that's great. But if you will not, you already know that you are able to lose those money and you're okay with that. So this is my day list, and I really encourage you to create your own as well. And the last thing that I want to talk about, and I think I will get back to this topic in the later videos, is that us traders actually are doing something which is a bit controversial, and not everyone is accepting that. Maybe this is your family, maybe those are your friends, but it is very, very hard to deal with lack of approval as a trader. And for example, what is happening for me, I am having quite some disapproval of what I'm doing. And as a result, I am often overtrading on those days when I'm feeling stress and pressure from the society. And I really need to recognize those emotions before I will place any trade, because that doesn't end up very well. And when you're dealing with disapproval, usually your mind is saying to you like, no, I can do this. I can show to everyone that I can trade. I can be profitable. And your mind is saying like, yeah, place this trade. This trade is good and that trade is good. And you will get those profits very fast and you will prove to everyone that you are the best trader ever. And well, as we know, patience is the key. So we should be patient and wait for those A+ setups instead of placing random trades just based on the price action, because we're starting to gamble instead of being real traders. And that is not good. This is literally the opposite thing that we want to show to everyone. We want to show that we know how to trade. So that's why we should stick to the strategy and don't place random trades. And whenever you are in such a situation, when you're getting a negative feedback from your family or friends, then just try to lean towards other people, other traders. If you will find some friends that are also traders, talk to them. If you're in some kind of community, also try to talk about this in your community, that you're having such a problem, and you will feel more supported by those people. It is very unique what we're doing, and not everyone understands us. So that's why support is very, very important, because it is hard to get through this journey alone. And by saying this is all what I wanted to share with you this week. And if you're interested in more psychology topics, check out the June review, where I'm talking way more about the psychology of the June trades, and you will find out way more there. See you next time. Bye!